Glenn Powers Show, or should we call it something else? Maybe we'll call it the Review and Rant Power Station Show. Something like that. Something that's catchy. We'll figure it out as we go along. So now I am going to review Raw is War. I'm going to be pretty much reviewing anything regarding entertainment on this show. I watch wrestling with my kid, so I'll be covering wrestling. It makes him happy, makes me happy, whatever. Just going to do it. Little backstory on wrestling. I used to be a big fan of wrestling up until, whenever Chris Benoit decided to go nuts and do what he did. So that's the last time I actually really watched wrestling. I was really into it big time. Anybody that knows me knows I was a big fan. But the Benoit thing just kind of turned me off of wrestling for quite a long time, because I just got back into it about 7 months ago, probably September of 2015. My son said one of his buddies was watching it. He wanted to watch it, so we started watching wrestling. So, anyhow, let's talk about Raw's War from, July 16, 17, July 18th, Raw is War. So the show opened up with Stephanie and Shane coming out, and what their whole point of their whole purpose of them being on the show tonight was to announce their general managers for Raw and Smackdown. So first, Stephanie announces that Mick Foley will be her GM, and then Shane announced Daniel Bryan would be his GM for SmackDown. Now, I had no problem with them announcing who their GMs were on Raw. The big draft, SmackDown draft, is tomorrow night, so July 19th. And SmackDown is now live on Tuesdays. So I had no problem with them introducing their GMs tonight. Not a big deal. Not really a big deal. What was a big deal to me was, for holy crap, it took forever. It was like 20 minutes plus just for that segment. What a waste of time. I watch wrestling to see wrestling, not to hear talking. If I wanted to watch talking, I'd turn on Ellen or something like that. I don't want to see talking when I watch wrestling. And that's going to be the theme of the whole evening. I know they're working up to a pay-per-view. Battleground is this coming Sunday. But still, you can throw some wrestling in. You know what? Even throw some up-and-comers in there for some matches. Give them some time. And I know that the big thing is the big names that are going to be wrestling on the pay-per-view. But there's just too much talking. I'm sorry, you bored me. That's, like I said, my Heroes Reborn review. I tape all my, I really dated myself with that, didn't I? I record everything on my PVR so I can skip commercials, and for wrestling, I can skip all the talking. So you may ask me, well, what did they all talk about? I don't know. I skipped it. It was boring. If my son wanted to watch it, I stopped. But if not, I kept going. It's just, there's no reason to spend 20 minutes talking opening monologue. Introduce your people, move on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So anyhow, the first match of the night was Cesaro and Sami Zayn teamed up against Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Not a bad match. It was okay. Nothing spectacular. I do want to point out that Cesaro's uppercuts are absolutely pointless and ridiculous, and they're non-believable. When he's doing them, like giving Jericho like 20 uppercuts in the corner, seriously, does anybody believe that somebody could actually do that to you? It just doesn't. You're going to do the uppercut as a move once in a while. I'll believe it that you can do it, but not when you're going to sit in the corner. Even when he does those running ones and there's like 3 people in each corner kind of thing. And it's just ridiculous. He's a good guy, a good wrestler, good technical wrestler. And you can believe that he has the ability to do what he does, but these uppercuts are just ridiculous. Stop it. Okay. It's not entertaining. That match ended when Sami Zayn did pin Jericho. And I'm going to say Kevin Owens is a hell of a worker, and I hope they push him to main event status like sooner than later. I don't know who's going to be champion after this weekend, but hey, put him in a feud with Owens, and it's gold. The match will always be good. Next up, we have Darren Young versus Alberto Del Rio. Now, Darren Young did these awful vignettes with Bob Backlund for months. It probably went on for 5 or 6 months. Just ridiculous. It was like make Darren Young better again or something. I watched one and I said, this is just absolutely terrible. Just push the guy. Say he's going to be your mentor. He could have been doing something so much better than these silly vignettes. They're just bad. I'm like, I don't even care about Darren Young anymore. The guy can wrestle. He's a good entertainer. But they bored me to death with these little skits they did every Raw. They were boring, boring, boring. You can't get a guy over with those kind of silly little tactics. Get the guy out there with Bob Backlund. Get him out here winning. Have him in the back area, giving him advice or something in a match before it happens, and he wins with that advice. That makes sense to me. But these vignettes were just terrible. I didn't care for them. Anyhow, so during that match, the Miz was at ringside because he is fighting Darren Young at Battleground on Sunday. So he ended up on the apron, and Young came over there and he smacked him a good one. And what happened was Alberto actually I believe had Young pinned, but the ref was distracted because the Miz was on the apron, and then Young reversed it and got the pin on Del Rio. And they really kind of pushed Del Rio down after him coming back last year after his injury, and he came back and beat John Cena at I can't remember which pay-per-view it was, but won the championship back. Gave him a push, and then he did the thing with with Sheamus and Wade Barrett and Rusev. I can't even remember what that group was called. It was so bad. But those guys were all powerhouses, and then they made them all lose all the time. So it's kind of pointless. Why put them together? But anyhow, Del Rio hasn't done nothing since since he won the belt and joined that group. Okay, so then we got John Cena, everybody's favorite. Now, I'm going to come out and say, I hate John Cena, the character. I don't hate the person that plays the character, but the character, it just sucks. I'll get into that later. So he comes out to the chants, and it was this huge, you could hear the Cena, Cena sucks. It was just hilarious. And he plays up to it. He doesn't let it get to him. He just kind of plays up to the crowd. And they kind of warm up to him. It's kind of funny. So anyways, he's out there yip-yapping, and then Enzo and Cass came out. And they're all yapping. So I kind of fast-forwarded because I'm like, okay, let's get to some wrestling, man. What the hell's going on? There's supposedly a 12-man tag team, and all I hear is talking. Then the club comes out. Now, I'm a big AJ Styles fan, and I like the club, Anderson and Gallows. So I watch there. They're pretty funny, the three of them. With the let's beat up John Cena. I get a kick out of that. Then the New Day comes out, then the Wyatts, and then, finally we got to a wrestling match. The match actually turned out to be pretty good. At the very end, everybody kind of got their finishers in, and Enzo ends up accidentally clotheslining Cena out of the ring, and AJ hits... Enzo, he accidentally clotheslines John Cena. And then AJ Styles hits Enzo with the Styles Clash, which is one of the dopest moves in wrestling today. Aside from when Bret Hart did the sharpshooter. I can't think of any other move that I like that much. Next up, we got Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin. I can't pronounce that guy's name right. Is it Corbin or Carbon? Corbin. Anyhow, he's another up-and-comer that they're just burying. But anyhow, they had him fighting Sin Cara tonight. Now, Corbin wins, and then Kalisto comes out to help Sin Cara because Corbin's kind of giving him a stomp down. Corbin leaves the ring, but he comes back, pulls out Sin Cara, clubs him from behind, drops him on the ground. I'm like, really? You're going to put this big brooding guy who was in a feud with Dolph Ziggler fighting luchadors? Doesn't make sense. That was like Ryback fighting Kalisto. You couldn't convince me that Kalisto could beat the guy like that in real life. But no, we are talking wrestling, so you want to make it believable? Well, I think somebody like Ryback or Corbin, who's supposed to be getting this massive push, can beat somebody like Sin Cara and Kalisto and wouldn't be scared of them. So next up, we got some ladies action, or divas, not women's action. They don't call it divas anymore. They call it women's. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Dana Brooke and Charlotte. So anyhow, out of nowhere, Natalya came out and attacked Becky, and so Sasha and Becky get the win by disqualification. Charlotte beats down, and Dana Brooke beat down on Sasha Banks. That sets up all these matches, women matches for battleground. Background. What the hell am I thinking of? Battleground. So next we got Sheamus and Rusev versus Ziggler and Ryder. Now, Ziggler and Ryder, those guys, I don't know. This is kind of a mismatch. Ryder's going to be fighting Rusev at the pay-per-view Battleground, and I'd rather see, Ryder going after The Miz or something like that. Like, he never got his title. When he lost the title to The Miz, he never got a rematch. What's up with that? You just think people forget about it? Well, I remembered it. Anyhow, so they had this tag match, Sheamus and Rusev versus Ziggler and Ryder. And Rusev gets Ziggler to submit. So, I don't know. And Ziggler, from what I understand before I was watching recently wrestling, Ziggler was kind of a big name. What's happened to him? He's kind of like a Shawn Michaels, Billy Gunn kind of combo, doing the Famouser and the Sweet Chin Music. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about this new breed of wrestlers kind of copying other guys, like almost cloning themselves after other guys. So anyhow, during this one break, I saw they had the draft rules for tomorrow. So number one rule for the draft is Raw has the first overall pick. Number two, for every 2 Smackdown picks, Raw gets 3 picks. Number 3, tag teams count as 1 pick unless a commissioner or GM only wants 1 member of a team. So I don't think they're going to split up any of the current tag teams. Doesn't make a lot of sense. If they break up the club, I'm going to be pissed. Like, severely pissed. Number 4, 6 draft picks will be made off the NXT roster. Now, I don't watch a lot of NXT. I don't want to become like I was before. Like when I used to watch wrestling, there was WCW, ECW, and WWF, or WWE at the time. So I was spending like 5 nights a week watching wrestling, and I just don't want to get immersed that much. Like right now, we've got the Cruiserweight Challenge, we've got NXT, we've got Raw and SmackDown, and you got the pay-per-views every month. There's a lot of wrestling every month. So I don't think I'm going to review NXT unless time permits. I watch the odd match if, like, Finn Balor's battling somebody, or Shinsuke, I can't even say the guy's name, Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't really know much about NXT, so I know Samoa Joe from TNA days, but that's about it. So anyways, it moves us on to our highlight of the night, main event, Ambrose versus Rollins. Now, it was an overall good match, and I'll say this about Dean Ambrose. I thought up until tonight he was a pretty sloppy wrestler, like he wasn't very graceful in the ring, kind of like a John Cena. But tonight he really put on a really good match with Seth Rollins. He really kind of showed what he could do. He was smooth, he was rough, he was aggressive. It was actually a very entertaining match. Anyways, the match ended when Rollins did a suplex off the top rope, and it looked like Ambrose had actually grabbed the legs of Rollins and pinned him, but the ref counted. There was no clear winner. And when you watch the replay, which I did, and I paused it and put in slow motion, the way they set it up, both their shoulders were down at the same time. But Stephanie comes out, grabs the belt, grabs the mic, announces Rollins as the winner, as the new champion, and that's how Raw ended. So we'll see. There's going to be obviously some kind of setup for Battleground. So, and with Roman Reigns coming back this week, well, he'll be back at the pay-per-view after serving his 30-day suspension for violating their wellness policy, which I still don't know what he did. I'm guessing some kind of performance enhancers, or maybe some kind of marijuana or something. I don't know. I don't read enough about it. I don't know much about, maybe they haven't even announced it. Maybe I don't, who knows? Oh, we know Brock Lesnar is UFC. He got something about a doping violation, and they haven't announced what it was yet. So we'll find out. Interesting. So anyhow, Battleground is this coming Sunday. So the matches that they've got listed so far that I saw from today, We got the New Day versus the Wyatts. We have the Club versus John Cena, Enzo, and Cass. The Miz versus Darren Young for the Intercontinental title. Charlotte and Brooke versus Sasha Banks and her surprise special guest. And then we got Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Rusev versus Ryder for the U.S. title. And then we got Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns for the heavyweight title. So not a bad pay-per-view. Not overly stellar. I'm really looking forward to the Club versus John Cena, Enzo, and Cass. Other than that, I don't. The main event, it might be okay. Be interesting to see the kind of reaction that Reigns gets coming back after being suspended for 30 days. But anyhow, I will watch the Smackdown draft tomorrow, and if I have time, I will make another podcast video here, or whatever you call these things. I'm just going to call it a podcast. And we'll see. If I have time, I'll post it and get the results out of the draft. It should be pretty interesting. My little guy's excited about it. He wants to see who's going where. So, my overall first guess is going to be, everybody's saying Seth Rollins. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to go first. It's going to be John Cena. John Cena will go to SmackDown. That's what I think. I don't think he'll stay on Raw. They need a heavyweight name, a big draw on SmackDown, and you put him over there, he's a big name and a big draw. Be interesting to see what happens with some of the tag teams like the New Day and the Club that are going to break these guys up. What's going to go on? All I know is, damn it, give AJ Styles a title already. This guy's busted his ass for years, and I'm a huge fan. Let's give this guy a belt already. Okay, so that's enough for today. So until next time, take care.